Becoming a reflective practitioner is a process of combining theories and knowledge and practice into a coherent whole which is meaningful for the teacher. And this all comes together to generate a concept which we can think of as teacher professionalism. And the fundamental question we have to ask ourselves here then is good teaching a direct consequence of reflective practice? As we've seen, reflective practice is very much a process of inquiring into a problem, of investigating and understanding a problem in order to come to some sort of solution, to derive processes to solve that problem. And what this means is that we need to think of reflective practice from some certain viewpoints in terms of professionalism. For example, we need to think about how reflective practice can boost teacher professionalism, can improve and sustain teacher professionalism. And one quality we need to look at here is the caliber of teaching, the quality of teaching. And the caliber of teaching, the caliber of reflective practice is very much about challenging the assumptions that we have about teaching, about the pedagogical practices that we're using, and using these to establish for ourselves the principles of good practice, or in other words, to see teaching as an art, and the process of reflection is to refine and to improve the quality of the art of teaching. Teacher professionalism through reflective practice is also about discourse. Discourse, dialogue, helps us cultivate for ourselves as professionals a level of confidence in our abilities, and discourse also helps us to describe those abilities to others, to articulate the level of knowledge, the level of expertise, the level of professionalism that we have. And of course, we also know that teacher professionalism, from the reflective practice standpoint, is also about knowledge generation, knowledge creation, because what the reflective practitioner is doing is thinking critically, observing critically, and using this criticality to frame challenges in terms of our frames of understanding, in order to develop for ourselves new theories and new models of working. And what this means for the reflective practitioner is that we can think of teacher knowledge and teacher inquiry from three levels. We've got the level of knowledge for practice, acquiring and generating knowledge for improved practice. We've also got knowledge in practice, or in other words, the knowledge as applied in the classroom, and also knowledge of practice, or in other words, our metacognitive processes in relation to the work that we're doing. And what we can do with this is begin to think of a diagrammatic representation for this knowledge and practice generation. And in this format, we can see that knowledge for practice is the foundation stone of teacher professionalism. It's where the teacher is learning content and learning pedagogical knowledge from theory, from researchers, and beginning to apply this in practice. Although we can consider it as a very basic level of professionalism, it is rather a foundation level of professionalism, equally important to any other level. Without it, we cannot call ourselves professionals. At the next level, we can think of knowledge in practice. This is where teachers are acquiring practical teaching knowledge from the experience that they have of teaching over time, and from the reflection of that experience, and inquiring into experience on a day-to-day basis. Knowledge in practice is ongoing and perhaps forms the most significant part of teacher professionalism. On top of this, we can think of knowledge of practice. This is where teachers over time are developing skills sufficient enough to be able to generate knowledge which is coming from their experience, coming from the classroom, coming from the school, and where the teacher is seeing such contexts as places of learning for themselves, as places of inquiry into the process of teaching. It's a way for the teacher to make cognitive connections between theory and practice, between the issues that they have personally with the bigger issues concerning education as a whole. And knowledge of practice, therefore, is very much taking a very critical perspective, not only of theory, but also of the experiences of others and our own experiences, in order to bring these three things together into a new generation of understanding, a new generation of knowledge. And it's from this generation of knowledge that we start to develop the profession and also develop our own role as a professional within the context that we work. So the three levels of thinking here and knowledge generation, fundamental to the process of professionalism. The foundation level knowledge for practice is not insignificant. It is a foundation level, and therefore as important of knowledge of practice, which is generating new knowledge all the time.